Hello everyone, I'm Brian Croy Dragon and welcome back to Vox Adventures. Well, we're back. Overslept a bit, so I've got a bit of a late start, but not too much of a late start. It's going to be about 10 minutes shorter than I originally intended this to be. Alex? Hi. You want to come up? Come on. Come on. But... Hey. Okay, let's see here. Check in with Ragnagord. Okay. So I've been working through the movies I got for Christmas. Watched the airplane movies, which are kind of underwhelming. Kind of absurd. I've watched the live action Aladdin. Very good. while watching it, I got to wondering why villains are always, or usually, associated with the color red. Also got to thinking about the portrayal of Grand Viziers as villains when the original Arabian Nights stories did in fact have some good viziers. Okay, where do I find them? Okay. Goodness sake. Then I watched the filmed stage production of Stratford's Coriolanus. Stratford's most recent production of Coriolanus. Very excellent. And then I watched Darkest Hour, where Gary Oldman plays Winston Churchill. I wasn't surprised that he called the hole punch Klopp. I mean, before that I had seen Churchill, which features Brian Cox as Winston Churchill, obviously. And there's a scene where he's just yelling for Klopp until his secretary was handed the hole punch by his wife. Well, where are the chests? There's not any up here. No. Excuse me one moment. Um, there's usually a chest around here somewhere. So later today I'm gonna watch All Quiet on the Western Front and maybe Cleopatra. I'm not gonna stream today. If I was going to, well, Castlevania Harmony of the Assonance would be starting today. Obviously. Where are those chests? They've got to be around here somewhere. Unless they've just stopped. Oh, here we go. Huh. Okay, now what? None of the above, it would seem. None of the above. None of the above. Hmm. Come on, frozen fruit cake. Hey. Oh, yeah. Alex? I hope I'll be able to find some. I'm hoping I can at least finish one more quest before December ends. Because I won't be recording tomorrow. What? Hello, Alex? What? You gonna come up? What? What? Hello? Are you coming up? Come on. There we go. What the creeper? Hey. Maybe there's some chests up here. Alex? Alex? Come on. Come on, chests, where are you? Oh, come on. Hold on. Come on. Come on. None of this is what I'm looking for. Please let it be cake. What? Okay. Down here, maybe? What the hell? No, nothing in here. When the new map comes, I'm definitely doing a new expedition to the four corners of the world. Hmm. Come on. Come on, there's gotta be one around here somewhere. Should. Come on. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. No chest in the cave. Come on. Hmm. So I saw Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker yesterday. Excellent movie. Very good. I really enjoyed it. Of course, I know there are some Star Wars fans who hated it, but hold on. Something up here? No. The writing was excellent. The characters well acted. Is there some things I'm glad are no longer canon? Yeah, but more specifically, I'm talking about the recent comics and how the movie has rendered some of that no longer canon because there's some stuff that I never really could buy. I mean, accept as being the truth. And really, I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but yeah, a lot of the stuff that was rendered no longer canon by the movie, and by that I mean recent comics. I really it's just stuff I couldn't buy, like while keeping this as vague as possible. I always had a sense that always had a sense about Snoke's true origins, and I'm surprised, and I was pleasantly surprised to find out that I was correct about him, and I saw the movie. Now, there's just something about Snoke. Uh, I mean, yes, some of his disfigurement could have been dark side, but dark side related. But at the end of the day, I just had difficulty believing that was something caused by the dark side and just not his natural appearance. Yeah, jeez. Now, the return of Lando was something I was well looking forward to. As much as I like Harrison Ford as Han Solo, I think he was very much, well, not him. I think Billy D. Williams was, he would have done better. I mean, I know he actually auditioned or was considered for the role. And yeah, he would have been great. And there's probably a universe where he does play Han Solo. Uh, and probably in that same universe, Toshiro Mifune plays Obi-Wan, Morgan Freeman plays Qui-Gon. Yeah, Chiatrell Ejiofor plays Poe. All of that. Sometimes I think about writing a Star Wars a homage to Star Wars, and the more that I look into the origins of the film, and that it was originally supposed to be Flash Gordon, a Flash Gordon movie, I wonder why I don't just write a Flash Gordon story. For goodness sake. Am I familiar with Flash Gordon? Yeah. I've read a good portion of the original comic strips on Urbzine, but does that have to do with the works of Edgar Rice Burroughs? Well, apparently King Features wanted to adapt John Carter of Mars, but they couldn't get the rights to it from Edgar Rice Burroughs, so that's what happened. Flash Gordon just they were going to do John Carter to compete with Buck Rogers, couldn't get the rights, so yeah, Flash Gordon. I'm aware that in the original strips, the character of Ming the Merciless was yellow skinned, obviously in that yellow peril trope that is no longer acceptable. No, I wouldn't have him be yellow. Green maybe, yeah, definitely maybe green. Uh, I might also make Aura and Baron green because they too were also yellow in the original, so green would probably work. But on the other hand, Baron tends to dress in green. Uh, Rather Robin Hood-esque in attire, so I don't know. Maybe keep the green skin, but go for a different Robin Hood look, not the Lincoln green. Jeez. Hmm. Yeah, I think Aura might have originally had red hair, which isn't. I mean, red hair. I like to give my characters red hair. I only give my protagonists red hair. Uh, Excuse me one moment. as I was saying, as I said, I love giving my characters red hair. My protagonists always have red hair. Their love interests always have red hair. For a Viking story, I'm planning a good portion of the cast would have red hair, with well, a good portion of the movie Gaelic, like myself. I'm the most Gaelic person I personally know. My dad's family, Gaelic Irish. My mom's Highland Scottish. I mean, yeah, if you can find a way for it to work, then great. There'll be Gauns with red hair, Norsemen with red hair. Ah, jeez. Basically, a lot of redheads. Do I care if it's unlikely for a Saxon to have red hair? I don't care. Danes and some other Norsemen, yes. A good portion of Celtic peoples, yes. Saxons, not likely, but I don't care. Hello. Finally! As I was saying, Aura, if I recall correctly, was originally a redhead. And that might sound like an invention, but with it being drawn on the Yellow Peril thing, initially, it's actually... Well, Aura was a villain initially until she became a hero, which bizarrely tends to be the way with a lot of the cast. Ming being the exception. Yeah, as I was saying, I'm not sure if this was something that Alex Raymond actually knew, but Genghis Khan, whom people often mispronounce his name as Genghis Khan, because they pronounce it as they read it, when the Mongolian language does not have a hard C sound. I'm not sure how the Chinggis part works. Yeah, Genghis Khan had red hair. Red hair is common in Mongolia. And with the planet being called Mongo, derived from Mongol and Mongolia, I wonder if that was intentional or not, and if Alex Raymond even knew that. But yeah, I definitely give Aura red hair, because I like giving my characters red hair. Oh, jeez. As I said, I changed them to green. The Hawkmen maybe also green. If I recall correctly, they were brown, and the original and the original comic strips, and if I change the ones who were portrayed with yellow skin to green, naturally I gotta change um to avoid the mighty mighty trope. Gray skin, maybe. Yeah, maybe gray. Especially as I'm a fan of fidelity to the source material, that Zarkov is he starts off sympathetic in his first appearance, then is suddenly a hero later on when he reappears. It's Alex Raymond was just like that. Turn villains into heroes, excellent idea. But we don't exactly get to see Zarkov's change. He's him forcing Flash and Dale into a rocket by gunpoint. I don't remember ever being brought up after he had done it. It was basically just like, Dr. Zarkov, you're alive. Yes, Flash, you're together again. And that's basically how it just went. They meet again and they're friends. Never mind that being forced into a rocket by gunpoint thing. It's weird. And I could definitely see why Filmation decided to have Zarkov be sympathetic from the start, where he lets Flash and Dale in to escape a wave of lava. The Formation series might just be one of the most faithful adaptations of Flash Gordon period. My idea for the green skin comes from there. Ming was portrayed with green skin. Green skin, fangs, a thin frame, vaguely Asian features. I pretty much try to go for not implying any features because, well, that would imply that someone who's, I don't know, maybe I'm just looking too much into it. And the pearl's great. Leave the call, take the ender pearls. The Hawkman having grey skin actually comes from comic book miniseries. I think it was done by either Marvel or DC. Can't remember right now. Where a good portion of the race is of Mongol or grey skin, or at least those that were meant to look human. But the thing is that Ming's people, who were portrayed with yellow skin and in the original comic strips, and the Hawk people were two different species. So I don't know. Make them all green, make them all gray. I mean, I'm not gonna change the skin color of the Lion Men because, well, they're covered in hair. Now, what setting would I go for? Probably the 1930s setting that the comic strip went for, but of course the idea of working around, I mean, I don't want to, I mean, King Features, yeah, on the off chance I doubt I'd ever get the rights to write a Flash Gordon book, so, writing a Flash Gordon story in all but name would make sense. It would definitely give me some liberties. I'd be faithful, but also do my own twists. Make the Lion Men Tiger Men, that would be something. Obviously, with Ming being named after the Ming Dynasty, my character was, I don't know, maybe a Roman dynasty? Call him Julio Claudian, maybe. Severin, possibly? Flavian. I mean, when you're looking for a balance of Roman emperors, the Julio Claudians were pretty much a mixed bag. You had two good ones, a pretty average one, had his good qualities and his bad qualities, and then you had two bad ones. Of course, a lot of people prefer to vilify Augustus. and to some extent Tiberius also. He had his problems, but otherwise Rome was in general at peace, and do I believe he poisoned Germanicus? No. I mean, if we take Alexander the Great's death at a young age into account, Germanicus, I don't know, might have been too much alcohol or something. I really don't think Tiberius would have had one of his heirs poisoned. And the idea that Livia did it is absurd because that's built on propaganda against her that no one believes anymore. Does it make for an entertaining story? Yes, if you're adapting propaganda, hearsay, and rumors. Uh, hmm. Claudius, yeah, Claudius definitely makes use of a lot of those, the propaganda, the rumors. I mean, that bit with Messalina, most definitely did not happen. It's propaganda against her. The most she did was probably just conspire against her husband Claudius. Come on. Jeez. I want cake. Give me cake. Where was I going? It really doesn't make sense for Tiberius to have had one of his heirs killed. Because Tiberius was pretty much a last resort, and he knew it. He had seen the succession crisis of Augustus. There's no way he would have wanted to go through the same thing as Emperor or First Citizen, as he was called then, as they were called then, as the rank was called, position, rank, whatever. You're fine. Hello. What? Excuse me one moment. So as I was saying, it makes no sense for Tiberius to have had one of his heirs killed when he had been through his adoptive father's succession crisis. Because let's see here. First there was Marcellus, then there was Agrippa, then there were Augustus's grandsons, Lucius and Gaius. Then there was Agrippa's son and Augustus's grandson, Agrippa Postumus, who was banished. A lot of people like to blame Livia, but there's some people that might. I myself, because I don't believe that Livia talk, because, well, it's propaganda. I believe it might have had something to do with Agrippa's temperament. And apparently, there's also talk that he might have been talking of usurping Augustus. Yes, Alex, hello. What? Hey. You coming up? Come on. Come on. Alex, do you want to come up or not? You want me to pick you up? Hey. At the end of it all, Tiberius was really just the last resort. He was Augustus' stepson, adopted son, former son-in-law, given the disastrous marriage between him and Augustus' daughter Julia. Hey. Why was Tiberius the last resort? Well, because he was 55 and Germanicus was considered too young. He was in his 20s, I believe. And lived to be in his 30s. Germanicus was Tiberius's nephew and Augustus's great nephew. He was married to Augustus's granddaughter, one of them, Agrippina Major. His daughter Agrippina Minor became the mother of Nero. So, yeah, Germanicus was the father of Caligula and the grandfather of Nero. Bad luck there. Tiberius was made Augustus's heir and Tiberius made Germanicus his heir, after Germanicus' time it would switch over to Drusus, Tiberius' son, who was apparently poisoned by his wife and her lover, Sejanus, who definitely had Tiberius' ear, and so he'd believe anything Sejanus told him. Oh, come on. Do I believe it is possible that if Germanicus had lived, Caligula might never have ascended to the throne? It's a possibility. He was the youngest of Germanicus and Agrippina's children, so it's possible he might not have, considering his older brother's necessity or deaths didn't have anything to do with health. One of them starved to death, and I can't remember how the other one died. Might have been executed, I think. I can't remember. So keeping those in mind, Caligula might not have become emperor. And besides that, it would have switched between the two bloodlines. It would have switched between Germanicus's and Drusus's, so there's no way of knowing that Caligula actually would have become emperor even if Germanicus had lived. I think the reason Tiberius was named heir was because he wasn't expected to live as long as he did. He became emperor at 55, lived to be 77. Natural causes, of course. Of course, there are those who believe that he might have been murdered in his sleep, so there's no telling how old he could have been. He could have gone on to be, if that's the case. Keeping that in mind, even if Germanicus had lived, he probably would have been in his 50s himself by the time he became emperor. No one expected Augustus to be 75 because he was of poor health and often fell ill. No one expected Tiberius to have a reign of 22 years because he became emperor at 55. Caligula, yeah, he was assassinated, so who cares? And he was pretty much he wasn't that great of a person. Might have been some exaggeration, but he wasn't that great. There was definitely something to work off of. When it came to the exaggerations and propaganda and all that, he wasn't the greatest of people. Did he actually make his horse a public official, a consul? Probably not. But I mean, wouldn't have put it past him. He didn't really like the Senate, but then again, the Senate was its own problem. Claudius, he was pretty much poisoned. Some people just say it was natural causes, so we can't be sure if he. I mean, he had some health problems, nothing serious, just ill often, if I remember correctly. So again, if he hadn't been poisoned, who knows how long he would have lived for. Oh, come on, where's the cake? I mean, even then, he lived to be... He was 63 when he was poisoned, so... 63, 64, yeah, 63, I think. So he lived to be an old man. The Senate and the Praetorian Guard were probably expecting a simple-minded idiot to take advantage of who wouldn't live long. But if anything, he certainly lived for, well, I mean, 13 years, that's pretty good. Nero, who gives a crap about him? He was probably worse than Caligula. I mean, it took 14 to 13 to 14 years, not exactly. Sure, he became emperor in 54. The Senate declared him a public enemy and named Galba emperor in 68. So 14 sounds right, but but depending on when in the year, could have been 13, so just barely 14 at most. Yeah, it took the Senate longer to name Nero a public enemy than it did for them to assassinate Caligula. The Fire of Rome, I'm not sure how much of it is true that it was Nero who ordered it. I mean, it seems to be in the Christian tradition, but I mean, it was a bit more of a case of just blaming someone. I mean, you couldn't blame Nero because, well, it might be a good alibi, he was out of the country. I mean, maybe he did. Maybe that's the reason he was out of the country, to provide him out of Rome, I should say, out of the city, to give himself an alibi somewhere else in the empire. A fire happens when he's elsewhere, yeah, you can't really blame him, but the fact that one of the first things he did was build himself a new palace, I can definitely see where people are coming from. If Rome was so crowded, there wasn't enough room to build a doghouse before the fire. Hello? Oh, come on. Give me the cake! The cake! Yeah, a lot of people like to think Nero was murdered. He actually wasn't. He actually committed suicide. So let's count the deaths of the emperors of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. Natural causes, assassination, poisoning, suicide. And following the naming of Galba as emperor, what followed was the year of the four emperors. Let's see here. First it was Galba. The one who came next was either Vitellius or Otho. I can never remember who. Two of them were Vitellius and Otho. I just can't remember right now who came before who. It all ended with Vespasian. The only one of the four to be deified, but that he was only one deified. None of them were condemned to have their names stricken from public enemy like Caligula or Nero. And if you're interested, there were emperors that ended up with both being deified and having their names stricken from public enemy. The first one would of course be Commodus. Not as bad as Nero, worse than Caligula, but he was more online with someone like Tiberius. Had his good qualities, had his bad qualities. People tend to remember his bad qualities instead. Rome was definitely at peace during his reign, and some of his bad qualities, such as his paranoia, were brought on by others. If Lucilla hadn't conspired to assassinate him, he never would have become paranoid. Lucius Verus, who was his adoptive uncle, because his father Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus were adoptive brothers. He performed in the Colosseum as a gladiator. so someone actually, so it's not unlikely that Commodus was inspired by Lucius to perform as a gladiator. Well, it's not exactly something bad, but it was probably something done to drive his ego, so yeah, there's that. Had Lucius Verus never done that, Commodus would have probably never gotten the idea and just been general statues or something. How good an emperor was his follower, Marcus Aurelius? Good, but considering considering 8 years were in total, he spent about 11 years of his 19-year reign with co-emperors. First 8, Lucius Verus was co-emperor. 43, Commodus was co-emperor. Oh, come on. I need to find more cakes. So, with that in mind, it was pretty much, as a sole ruler, he was pretty much, well, pretty much, had a short time as a sole ruler. The Commodus thing was just to overstep succession. Don't need to name an heir when you've got a co-ruler, so yeah. Commodus didn't as much succeed his follower as just continued on once his co-ruler had died. What do we know about Commodus' physical appearance? Well, we know he was blonde, for one thing. Marcus Aurelius or Faustina might have been blonde, both of them probably, for him to have blonde hair. And we know that he inherited his father's hairstyle, the curly hair. Beard also, so the rumor that he was the illegitimate son of a gladiator that Faustina Minor had taken as a lover is, of course, it doesn't really hold up with the family resemblance. They did that probably wasn't even a rumor. It comes from the completely unreliable Augustan history, which is one of my problems with the film Gladiator. It uses that as reference. The screenwriter used that for reference. It's notoriously unreliable. With a good portion of it being fiction, propaganda, rumors, very little actual fact. The fall of the Roman Empire uses a bit from the Augustan history, but it's not as bad. it's a lot more historically accurate. Is it? It's a lot more historically accurate in places. I've talked about it a lot before. I come back to it a lot. I like the Roman stuff, the Egyptian stuff. The Greek, uh, depends on the period. Um, might have been loosely based on historical factors, but still the fall of the Roman Empire is a lot more historically accurate than something like Gladiator. No serious historian thinks Commodus was an adjustment. No serious historian thinks Faustina was ever unfaithful to Marcus. Unfortunately, you'll find documentaries with those historians who do advocate that Faustina was unfaithful, because there are people who think the Augustan history is reliable when it's not. Come on. Where's the cake? The family trees that far back can get pretty tangled. I mean, I've had some pretty embarrassing moments where I actually had to explain some of them, especially when they shouldn't be that hard to figure out, especially when you take ancient Egypt into consideration. I was asked how Akhenaten could have been Tutankhamun's father and uncle. But again, ancient Egypt, this should have been perfectly obvious. But I actually had to explain it. That's it. Akhenaten took one of his sisters as her wife, and from her came Tutankhamun. Oh, good lord, you have no idea how embarrassing that was. I'd like to go on record that not every fellow is married to his sister. I mean, Akhenaten was, but Tutankhamun's mother was not his great royal wife. Nefertiti was apparently his cousin, a maternal cousin. I mean, with that in mind, his daughters were probably healthier than his son was. Because his daughters came from Nefertiti. Well, look, the individual we know as the younger lady, it's definitely not Nefertiti. Well, that's all for today, everyone. Last recording of 2019 for Vox Adventures. I'm Brian Croydragon signing out. Stay straight.